Hi you guys, welcome back to the weekly bump. I'm super happy to be doing this again. I used to do it every week. I let it go for really no good reason. I did a little poll on my channel and you guys really seemed to like it. So we're going to bring it back. We're going to try to be consistent with it. And for those of you who have no clue what the heck this is, a weekly bump is what I call it because it's kind of like a little peak in tarot and astrology kind of updates. It's really just an energy update for the collective consciousness. It's not zodiac sign specific, it's just for all of us. I'm going to be combining the concept of the weekly bump with a pick a card as well. So I've got 4 piles laid out so you'll be able to kind of pick your energy update for the week. So there's a little bit of interaction there as well. First of all though, I know we're coming off of this full moon in Taurus, which for some of us may have been super intense. For me, it was like really chill, super relaxed, really productive as well. I had a lot of creative ideas coming through for me, which was really refreshing. But some people might have had some stuff happen. You know, we are still in a Mercury retrograde after all. Thank goodness he's going to be starting to go back direct on the 20th, the day after Mars enters into Scorpio. So we're still going to have this prolonged scorpionic soul-searching kind of stuff as we build up to all the January stuff. Scorpio really forces us into our truth, really forces us into our truest desires, which is great. And, the last 10 degrees of Scorpio, which is where we are now, right? Degrees, we're sitting at, the sun is sitting at 20, almost 21 degrees. It's just like a few minutes off. Almost 21 degrees of Scorpio. So from 21 degrees to 30 degrees, this is a part of Scorpio that's actually ruled by Cancer, okay? Every single sign has 30 degrees and is divided into 3 sections. We're in the scorpionic Cancerian part of this. So there's a moon quality that comes out, especially in regarding finances and our loved ones and the people that we really, there's an intensity there of like, I gotta really take care of it. I have to really make sure I'm there for people. I have to pay those bills. I really have to make sure this account is good. And, there's an intensity of taking care of things. The nurturing aspect of Cancer can be directed in a myriad of different ways, right? We can be more geared toward family. We can be more geared toward our careers or our money or our creative projects we have or our spiritual practice that we have, right? So there's going to be a honed in focus of like, I really need to take care of this. I really need to make sure that this is blossoming and growing the way it needs to. And then, 22nd, sun moves into Sagittarius, and we kind of have that, thank God, we feel a little bit more expansive and we feel a lot more ready for the changes that are really going to be coming for us in 2020. So I think Sagittarius season is going to be an interesting mix of continued scorpionic themes with the expansiveness of Sagittarius, which it's kind of like propelling us on this really beautiful trajectory as long as you have a positive mindset. If you're kind of stuck in a negative mindset, it's going to be really important for you to be like, okay, how can I transmute these thoughts into things that are actually beneficial for me and not like hurting me or hindering me or restricting me in any way, shape, or form. Okay. With that said, let's go ahead and put the camera down. I'm going to just put the camera down for just 1 second to show you the cards, but I'm going to be, switching the camera again and showing you like with my face. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's show you the cards and we'll get to it. Thanks. Okay, here we have the 4 piles. We have all aura quartz, yellow, pink, blue, and orange. If you want to pause the video, feel free, whichever pile you're feeling most attracted to at this time. If you have a specific question, you're free to ask it as well. Again, pause the video, take a moment to kind of focus on your question would be great. But if not, if you just kind of want to see what comes out, then let's go ahead and jump forward. Timestamps will be down in both the description box and the comment box down below, so you can quickly jump to where you want to be. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, pile 1, you guys picked the yellow aura quartz, which is beautiful. Let's see the first couple of oracle cards. So we're going to start off with the Psychic Tarot, which the very first card is a card of sacrifice. And I think sacrifice is a very common theme associated with Scorpio, in that you need to let something go in order to make room for the new things. And sometimes it could be the sacrifice of a dream. It could be the sacrifice of a financial loss. And when I say a sacrifice, I guess really what I mean is you're willing to call it a loss. You're willing to let it go. You're willing to let it fall by the wayside. Because I think you know that there's something better. And I love the rainbow aspect of this card as well, because there's promise, right? That's kind of the essence of the symbol of the rainbow. It's a promise. It's the universe promising you that better days are coming, that there is more abundance on the horizon, that there are growth opportunities for you, and that there's really no reason to be worried. And where you are now probably is going to be a place where you will never be again. So you can feel that sense of relief. You can feel that sense of like, it really is over. And sometimes sacrifice can be like sacrificing a version of who you really thought you were. You know, like all these identity things that we always make up. And I am a hard worker. I am someone who likes to eat really healthy. I am someone who goes to the gym every day. I am someone who would never spend $5 on a cup of coffee, right? Even these little labels and things that we associate with like who we are. Now you're like, let's go to Starbucks. I'm tired. I don't feel like making coffee this morning, right? Or maybe I don't go to the gym today. It's going to be okay. It's really giving up on any place where there has been rigidity. Now, how beautiful is this? A new romantic cycle begins. I don't know if you guys can see that. I know my camera is not really the best. So a new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. This can be an actual romantic situation. You could be feeling like a single version of yourself is going by the wayside. A current relationship is going by the wayside. And that rainbow connecting directly with the essence of the new moon in Libra. Romantic can be with a person, but it can also be with a romantic connection with life as well. Really kind of taking life by the hand and saying, let's do this together. It could be a new romantic outlook on your endeavors, your entrepreneurial things that you have going on, and just really seeing the best of the best in things and understanding how you and another person or you and a thing kind of feed off of each other and allow and enable each other to grow. So this is the space that you need in order to allow a new romantic cycle to begin. All right. And the third card we get out is a new life. Some of you are probably staring a new life in the face, being asked to hatch, and yet somehow, you know, some of you are super excited about it and be like, oh, thank God, like, yes, I'm so ready to hatch. And others of you are like, no, I'm so comfortable in my little zone. I'm so comfortable in my little nest egg here that anything that is forcing me to deviate out of my comfort zone can be really, really uncomfortable. This is a very neutral kind of energy. A new life is going to happen whether you like it or not. That's the way the world pushes us. That's the way our soul pushes us. You can view it as the worst thing that ever happened to you, or you can view it as the best thing that ever happened to you. It doesn't matter. The energy itself is completely, like, it doesn't care what you think about it, you know? So if you are having to give up on something or someone, it is for something better. It is for something good. And I like that we're actually making our way up to the new moon in Sagittarius, because the new moon in Sagittarius is going to, I mean, when we talk about expansion, I don't know that it gets any more expanded than that, right? The most abundant, the most limitless sign, that in Pisces, and creating a new start for that expansion. So there's a reason, and there's definitely astrological support for everything that's going on here. So the tarot cards that came out, we picked 4 tarot cards for you, come out like this. We have the 4 of Coins, which is feeling planted. It can often represent a feeling of feeling stuck sometimes. We can feel stagnant. We can feel like the mundane parts of life are just getting the best of us sometimes. But it's really, really important for you to see the value in the things that you have going on in the moment, because those are going to be the things that give you the tools and the skills and the knowledge and the wisdom to propel yourself in this kind of new life. As we can kind of use that as a theme for the yellow, new life. And so there's nothing wrong with being where you are. There's nothing wrong with feeling like you are stuck. It's just a matter of, you can kind of continue doing what you're doing, but also be very open to the new as well. No one is asking you to completely uproot your life, unless, some of you are like trying to get a divorce or something, but no one's asking you to completely uproot your life and completely take this huge leap, this huge risk. This is about following your gut, right? Don't forget yellow. Yellow has a very special significance here. Yellow is associated with the third chakra, which is self-empowerment and confidence and, the knowing that your intuition is correct. So the Page of Swords never questions the things that kind of come into his path. The Page of Swords just is like, everything is a learning experience. Everything is good. Everything is a positive. I can always extract some kind of wisdom from something or someone, And he's always very excited about creating a new life. He's whimsical. He's playful. He enjoys the struggle even. Like there's kind of passion in the struggle. There's exhilaration for life in the struggle. And look what happens, right? Look what comes out. 10 of Cups. Because he knows that the 10 of Cups is a state of mind. It's a state of being. It's a frequency that you can attune to. If any of you are Virgos or Libras and you watch the Virgo and Libra reading that I just did, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here, because that was the whole thing with those readings. Was like the abundance frequency, the frequency of attuning your soul and your energy to create more abundance and to create more opportunities, especially of those of you who are interested in romantic connections. Now, the Lover's reverse should not be seen as a bad thing. Sometimes the Lover's reverse, or the Lovers generically, is like a card of choice. So when it's reversed, I kind of feel like there is no choice. So you don't have to feel pressured by this whole like thing of you have to make some kind of determination. You have to feel so completely torn and fragmented by your life circumstances. Because see, the Page of Swords always kind of knows. And he knows that risks are usually worth it. And if they don't work out, they'll get you to something that will work out. And if it wasn't for you taking the risk, then you never would have gotten there. And, he always is very good at connecting the dots ahead of time, even if he has no idea what the picture's really going to look like. Because he knows that you can always get there from here. Wherever here is, you can always get to where you want to be. There's never a path that doesn't get you somewhere. Maybe with some detours, but you'll still get there. And then we have the aspect of maybe there is some sacrifice that is needing to be made, okay? Lover's reverse, some of you could be experiencing some miscommunication with your lovers. Let's be as obvious about this as possible. There could be some communication issues with your partners, your friends, your loved ones, and there could be, a difference in opinion about where something should go. Some of you are going to be walking away from relationships, and thank God, right? Because you deserve to have someone who's serious about a future with you, or you deserve to have someone who is serious about working with you and collaborating and being compromising and, finding the best solution for everything. If you are coming up against someone who is extraordinarily rigid, which I think Scorpio season can bring out rigidity in people. It's a fixed energy. We just had the full moon in Taurus. So, you could be dealing with someone who is so stuck, four of coins, who is so stuck in their identity that anything that deviates, they'll spend their whole life rebuilding an identity that pretty much doesn't even exist, and you're like, man, I don't want to do that. Like, let's just change. Let's be mutable. Let's be flexible. Let's, work around it. So some of you are going to be with someone who's like, I don't want to work with it. I don't want to, and you're going to be like, all right, peace out. Because I quite literally just don't vibe that way. And we're not on the same wavelength. So we don't really have a future here, because we're just going to kind of be at each other's necks all the time, or be at each other's throats all the time. And I don't want to live my life like that. I don't want to live my life on eggshells. I don't want to live my life in fear and feel like I'm drowning all the time. Like, nah, man. And so you're gonna walk into this new life with extraordinary optimism, as only the Page of Swords can do. So that's beautiful. Big, intense, but beautiful at the same time. Okay? All right, pile 1, that's you guys. Thanks so much. Okay, pile 2, you guys picked the pink crystal here, which I love the pink because it's connected with the heart chakra, which is like pink and green. So there is an aspect of love in the heart space coming through here. Some of you might need to do a little bit of work on your heart chakra. So when you're doing your meditations and all of that, put a little extra emphasis there. Ooh. Financial and material changes with the Psychic Tarot deck coming out. Nothing wrong with this. Sometimes we have to come up against some financial stress or strain, and Scorpio is a sign of money, so it's not a surprise. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, not a surprise. As Mars comes through Scorpio, though, you'll have the opportunity and the ambition and the drive to actually accomplish the things that you really need to accomplish, to get the finances in order, to get the bills paid, to take care of your taxes, whatever, right? Scorpio has to do with taxes as well. So, to take care of all that stuff and to not be behind. This is actually you getting ahead, I think. And if you are experiencing financial lack and you're really stressed about money, you're going to have the wherewithal to go out and look for opportunities and create opportunities for you as well. Don't let your past hold you back, which is the South Node. We're making our way into Capricorn season, which is currently housing the South Node. And I think these patterns, again, Saturn as well, these patterns that we have established from childhood, they are simply not strong enough to hold themselves up anymore. So if you have financial stuff going on, it could be a fear rooted from childhood that really wasn't, your fault. It was something that was instilled in you. And all you have to do is just acknowledge that and recognize it and overcome it by finding the abundance within your current circumstances right now. Don't let your past hold you back. Don't let your beliefs about money or your beliefs about what you can and cannot manifest, what you deserve and what you don't deserve. Now is not a time to be focusing on anything that you can't do. It's important for you to start looking at the people that you really respect, like, a movie star or a financial wizard or someone who's killing it in your industry. And I want you to start looking at them and seeing that they are you, and that fundamentally you are the same. When it comes to the awareness, when it comes to the soul, you're exactly the same. And because of this sameness, there is unity. And because of this unity, you also deserve those things. You may need to work at it the way they worked at it too, but if you put in the work and you do it right, you deserve it. So there's really no point in entertaining any thoughts of lack. Okay, so the next oracle card is by the book. Sorry, for some reason the lighting is it's not adjusting properly. By the book. Rules, the way things are done. Have you been trying to do it by the book? Have you been trying to do it kosher? Have you been trying to do it because of what people think of you? The book is good to an extent because it sets certain guidelines and it helps us, with a path. When I say the book, a lot of times that's culturally driven, that's industry driven, that's, with your friends and your family and all of that. And there can be some really good stuff in the book, Most foundations for houses are laid in a similar kind of way. So there is truth to what's in the book, but don't be afraid to deviate. Don't be afraid to make your own rules, because sometimes you can be so connected to what the book says and what the rules say, whatever the heck the rules are, that you don't expand. And now, as we make our way into Sagittarius season, you are going to feel a strong desire to expand. So you cannot be restricted by the book, all right? And I think now is a time to follow the people that you respect, but to put your own flavor on it too, you know? You can use the tactics and the strategies that other people use, but do it in a way that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, that you also kind of know that your gut is guiding you in that direction. So now we have the Four Tarot cards coming out. We get the Nine of Coins reversed, which is interesting because it's coupled with the Three of Wands, which we'll talk about the abundance factor of that card as well. Why is it that there is a fear of stepping forward, Page of Wands reversed? Why is it that there is a fear of pushing yourself into that unknown space? I don't know why. You're going to have to answer that yourself. And it could be just a temporary blip on the radar. Like you may just feel like, you know what, this week's really just not my week. It's just time for me to like scale it back or whatever. But I actually urge you to not do that. I think this is going to be a week of discomfort for you. It's a week of putting yourself out there, doing something that you're a little bit afraid of doing. And whether it works or not is completely irrelevant. It's more about the doing and the pushing yourself and getting yourself comfortable with the discomfort. A lot of times the Page of Wands, when he's upright, I see him as so optimistic and so happy and so just adventurous and like really up for anything. And when he's reversed, it's kind of like a little bit of a dim light. So this is by choice. And so it's a matter of saying, you know what, I am simply not going to engage in dim light mentalities. You know, I'm going to be bright and I'm going to follow my ecstasy and I'm going to follow my bliss and my joy. And that's it. I think some of you are really, really ready to start sharing yourself with other people in a romantic sense, in a business partner sense. But at the same time, there's also of like maybe again that question of deserving or something. Nine of Coins reversed can often be an indicative of someone who uses an external source to validate themselves, which we know never works. So that light really does have to come in. There's a reason why you picked the pink, guys. There's a reason why you were drawn to this specific stone and this specific color, because your heart was like, you know, we need to feel it. We need to really feel like when all these spiritual people talk about self-love and how great it is and like I myself am even getting sick of like hearing that from other people, but it doesn't mean it's not true. There does have to be an aspect of true and pure love that we ourselves radiate. And sometimes when we feel depleted and we feel maybe overwhelmed by the things of the world, that true and pure love can kind of just like, yeah, but that's not realistic. It's not real. It's not the way things are, you know? And when we get caught up in that dialogue, we actually lose out on the opportunities that are on their way to us as we speak. See, at least the Queen of Swords is has a stoic nature to her. At least the Queen of Swords is up here and says, you know what? That thought kind of sucks. I'm not going to choose to not think it, because I think we really can't control what thoughts kind of come into our mind, but we can control which thoughts we attach to and run away with. So you can let the negative thoughts come in and then you can let them kind of go out just as easily. And you can say, you know, when that negative thought comes in, I'm going to focus on 10 reasons why I'm grateful, and I'm going to focus on the things that are really coming in for me, or the potential things that are really going to come in for me. And I think engaging in some kind of unrealistic fantasies right now is actually a really good idea, because that's how you kind of tune your frequency there. To allow yourself to dream for things that you never felt like you were, you know, deserving of dreaming. Don't let your past hold you back. So wherever you like let's say, can we just throw an example out there? Like, let's say that in the past, when you were looking for a new apartment or a new house, you were always so like focused on the money. Like, okay, I can only spend, whatever, $1,200 a month on rent at my place. I can only spend that. So even if there was a place that you really, really, really liked that was like $1,350, right? Just a little bit over your budget, you were like, no, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. It's not comfortable. Da, 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 da. But now's like, okay, you know what? I really like it. And I felt a sense of happiness there. And I felt a sense of peace when I walked into that apartment. So maybe it's going to be okay. And to allow yourself that slack, that if it pushes you a little bit, if it does get you to be uncomfortable, that's actually the gateway to bringing in more money. That's actually the gateway to bringing in more love. You know what I mean? So it's important for you to allow yourself to be expanded, and that can be an uncomfortable feeling. And right now, I think you got to get uncomfortable, and you need to let those circumstances, approach you and come in, and you need to just kind of accept them. Because really beautiful blessings come from the Three of Wands. Always. That's almost a guarantee. There's money here. There's love here. There's new babies on the way. There's whatever the good news is, whatever your good news is that you're hoping for, this is what's possible. But if you're not open, see how he's kind of standing like with his arm like this, like his chest is open. He's ready to receive. He's not blocking in any way, shape, or form. Like in pile 1, right, we have kind of a blockage here. His chest is covered up. His heart's not covered up here. So, make sure your heart is open to receive, because that's the only way that the universe knows that, you're actually ready to receive. Okay? All right, pile 2. Thank you guys so much. Have an excellent week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Okay, pile number 3, you guys picked the blue aura quartz, which is really beautiful, and it's associated with your throat chakra here, which is as much as talking and all of that. This is so special, because this is how our thought forms and our emotions take some kind of physical form. We use a voice, right? So, and we use words, and we have a structure here. And that is kind of symbolic or metaphorical for how all creation happens, right? This is our creative chakra here. So it's creative. Movement, choices, and decisions with the Psychic Tarot deck here. So, okay, what is it that you're facing that you're needing to make decisions? You may feel like there are multiple doors in front of you, and you're like, I don't know which door is best. I don't know which direction to take. I don't know which one feels the best. And this is probably something that you're gonna need to kind of close your eyes and stop using all the pros and cons lists that we tend to make, and just follow what really feels right. Sometimes what feels right pushes us out of our kind of comfort zone. There's an intensity sometimes with what feels right. Sometimes what feels right is the hardest decision, but yet somehow when it's right, and you'll never question it, and there will never be any regrets. If you're at a place where you just really don't know if it's right or not, then I would consider just waiting. We'll see what the rest of the cards have to say, but I would just consider waiting for just a while longer until you know what feels right, okay? What is the moon energy? Expect powerful change. Okay, there's an eclipse energy coming out. Or no, it's a new moon energy. It's a shift in the tide, right? The wind is not going east anymore. It's starting to go west. And it's kind of like one of those things where you were on this direction, you were on this particular trajectory, and you felt kind of good about it the past couple of years maybe. And now all of a sudden the universe is like, we got to get you back here a little bit. And that can feel disorienting, and it can feel like you're giving up. And it can feel like you're giving in, maybe, and being lazy. And be careful that you don't associate changing your mind with like bailing or failure, because that's not what it is. If you feel like you need a change, then make the change. And when it says powerful change, it probably has something to do with your life circumstances It probably has something to do with your living situation, your financial situation, your security, both emotional and financial. It could have something to do with your job. Okay, so it's Scorpio season still. Mars is going to be making his way, so tick-tock. This beautiful concept that we refer to as time, which kind of sucks because we kind of know that time doesn't exist, but yet we're still constricted by it, right? It's the Saturnian aspect. Like our minds can go here and here and here and here and do all these things all at once, and boom, everything is happening, but our bodies still have to go through it. And that's kind of the aspect of the earth, Saturnian, third dimension kind of stuff. So we're still here. We're still in this reality, and that is what it is. So when it talks about time and we're talking about change, it means that it's like T minus 10 seconds, right? Like it's happening. This launch is happening, whether you like it or not, because this ascension on a global scale is happening, whether you like it or not. And you might as well roll with the punches on this one. Let's just say it, right? You might as well roll with the punches, because when we're talking about the creative aspect of life, there's a very quick, right? T minus 10, rocket's going to launch. But what happens when the rocket launches, right? It goes really high, really fast. So the countdown should not be nerve-wracking. It should be exciting. The countdown should not create anxiety. It should create a sense of feeling alive. Don't confuse, don't get the message twisted. Sometimes we're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And then but I think that scientifically speaking, they've done studies on the difference between anxiety and excitement, and what happens chemically is exactly the same thing. So if instead of saying I feel really anxious, you start saying, well, I'm going to just choose to feel excited, I'm going to choose to label it as being excited, your whole reality shifts in a really beautiful kind of way. The 4 tarot, ooh, beautiful. The 4 tarot cards that came out: Star, Empress, and the Sun. What happens when the rocket launches is you kind of get what you ask for. You actually do get to land on the moon or whatever. The Sun is always the promise that things are going to be great and things are going to be okay. And when we talk about expansiveness, it doesn't get more expansive than the cosmos itself, the universe itself, and that which makes up the universe. This is your cosmic connection to all things, especially your connection to the cosmic infinite abundance. The Empress, right, who knows that intrinsically, she kind of has this knowing that she is deserving, and whatever she wants, she can ask for, and she will receive it in some way, shape, or form. She understands that the magic takes time on this particular planet, and she's okay with that. And the Sun is like, you know what, if you start asking for the things, if you start asking for the changes that you want, and you start wishing big, movement, changes, and decisions, and you start making the tough decisions that do push your limits, you're probably going to get it, and it's probably going to be great, and it's probably going to make you really happy, and you're probably going to be able to teach someone how to do it too. This isn't a selfish thing. It's not selfish to ask for stuff. It's not selfish to want stuff, to want a romantic partnership, to want a boat, to want an island, whatever it is you want. It's not selfish. It's you tapping into what this world is really all about, okay? And because the full moon was in Taurus, there is an aspect of material possession, which is just as spiritual as your meditations that you do. There's nothing not spiritual about anything. So, understand that, and to understand that to have things is a spiritual experience in and of itself. The only way that this wouldn't happen is if you sort of cower away in fear and self-sabotage the whole thing. Why on earth would you be looking at these cards and then be afraid of it at the same time? This is the whole thing. This is the anxiety. This is the excitement. If you look at it as exciting, it's the best opportunity that you'll ever have. And then when you pull that trigger and you make those tough decisions, the likelihood of getting it is really, really high. So why would you push that away from yourself and limit yourself? That's just what we do as humans. We tend to do that a lot. Why? No reason, right? Literally no reason. This is an unnecessary energy. And, also, like, let's incorporate other people into this too. If there are other people in your life that are kind of, they betray you, they lie to you, they hurt you, they do those kind of things, it really has nothing to do with you. Like, that's completely and entirely on them. And there's no reason for you to feel sad about what other people do, even if it is a heartbreak or something. It's not your fault, right? If it really isn't your fault, it's not your fault. But you do need to focus on this stuff, because if you focus on this, like one little teeny tiny menial minor arcana card, you really can potentially miss out on all this stuff. So the question is really, where do you want to put your attention? I know that all of you are going to be like, I want to be here. Like, yeah, obviously, we all want to be there. We don't all want to be all sad about feeling sorry for ourselves and being martyrs and all that nonsense. Like, no one wants that. Now's the time for you to truly create your reality, right? The blue. Now's the time for you to take your thoughts and your dreams and the way you feel and turn it into a reality, into a reality for yourself on a day-to-day basis. Okay? Have a good week, you guys. Kind of a cool reading. I wish you nothing but the best. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Hello, pile number 4. You guys picked the orange stone, of orange aura quartz, which is really beautiful, connected with the second chakra, right? The color orange. Sexuality, passion, creativity, and just kind of like the desire for the creation and the experience of life as it stands. So let's go ahead and delve into the cards. Discontent and boredom. Interesting that particular card came out with such a passionate stone color. Let's rev up our passion, yeah? Let's rev up our desire for life. Let's rev up our curiosity. Like, what do you have to be bored and discontent about? Are you bored at your job? Are you bored with your financial situation? Like, okay, great. That's an indication. It's an indication that you're not expanding, and all you have to do is respond accordingly and say, okay, universe, I'm ready to expand. And boom, that universe will give you reasons to be real passionate. If you're bored in your relationship, if you're discontent in your relationship, and your sex is dying out in your relationship, right? Maybe it's time for you to go down to that sexy lingerie shop and get something cute and, come back and start revving that up a little bit, right? Like, let's take some action here. I don't see any reason why anyone should be bored during Scorpio season. Why? This is a time of intensity. This is completely the opposite of what we should be feeling at this time. Like, you can be bored in like Capricorn season, right? Let's leave that for Taurus season maybe, but not Scorpio season. It's not cool. So if you need to shake up your life, create some novelty, create something, do it by all means. This is like, animal type stuff, right? It's kind of animal, actually. Oh my gosh. What did I just say? It's time to take action. New moon in Aries. Okay, what are you going to do about it? You're discontent, you're bored. What are you going to do about it? You're dissatisfied. All right, great. That's good to know. It's good to know that what you've built so far has become stale. It doesn't mean that everything is at a screeching halt. It doesn't mean there's no movement. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. It just means that you can go do something else now and you'll be excited about it and you'll be happy. Also, Aries, also a very sexual sign. I don't know why I'm getting a lot of sexual energy from group 4, but I think you guys are maybe needing to wake that up a little bit. Maybe there's a Kundalini aspect coming out. Maybe some of you are really needing to take your spiritual practice to a really extreme and intense level, so that you can feel new realms of what it means to be a human being. The third card it's scary how on point I can be sometimes, or the cards can be rather. Come to the edge. The Scorpio edge. You're tired of being in the center. You're tired of being whatever, come to the edge. Let's spice it up a little bit, a little cayenne pepper on your life, and let's give it some heat, right? We're moving into Sagittarius season. We're closing out autumn. We're making our way into winter. The death of Scorpio season is already kind of, it's starting. I was just in New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, or last week rather, and the leaves, they were still on the trees, but they were all the vibrant yellow. I was in Vermont like the month before. So we had the beautiful foliage around Columbus Day, vibrant oranges and yellows and reds, and so beautiful. A month later, it's all brown, and next month it's going to be winter. So come to the edge. We know that death is happening. So now is a time to really, really start planting new seeds. And sometimes those seeds need to be a little bit drastic and dramatic. Sometimes we need the drama. It's okay to be dramatic. It's okay to be clumsy even. Can we just talk about the clumsiness of Aries? We always say Aries is impulsive and they're compulsive and they don't have big, good filters. They just kind of charge at things. Mars in mythology, right? He was like a 300-foot giant warrior who just was built to fight. That's what he did. He was a lover and he was a fighter, and that was the only thing he was really good at. And he just would go into battle and just kill everybody, right? I mean, that was what he did. So now it's time for you to go out and kill it. Be clumsy with it. Go make mistakes. Who cares? No one cares. No one's really watching. You do have to get extreme with it, I think. Let's take it to the edge. What are the tarot cards saying? Okay. I'm laughing because the Seven of Cups came out, and that's totally exactly, sometimes it can get really boring with not knowing what you want to do and knowing that you are at a certain place. Look, I just want to point out that none of these are major arcana. This is not a huge decision time. It's not like there are all these gigantic themes coming out in your life. It's just you feel a little bit discontent, okay? And yet you're but I don't know what to do to make it better. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do to stimulate yourself. Some of you, it's as simple as reading a book that challenges your belief systems. Other of you, it's going skydiving. Others of you, it's nothing, it's nothing hurtful or painful or whatever. It's just something different. Go take a pottery class. I don't care. Just do something different, okay? When we talk about contentment, usually the Nine of Cups is a really good thing, but I could also see, with the first three cards that came out, I could also see that the Nine of Cups can be boring. I think on one hand, you guys are feeling grateful, you're feeling good, you feel like you have, earned your lot in life and things are progressing well. And yet still, you know that a new chapter needs to open. You just don't know what those blank pages are really going to say. So maybe you need to stimulate your creativity a little bit. You need to stimulate your energy a little bit. I don't know that you can expect anyone else to really give you the idea that you're hoping for. This has to come from within. It has to come with the soul connection. I would recommend having some pretty deep conversations with your higher self of look, dude, I'm kind of at a loss. I know I need to do something. I'm feeling misdirected. Nothing is really inspiring me, whatever it is. And you kind of need to get out of your own way. Sometimes the Eight of Swords can just be all of the restrictions that we put on ourselves. How can the universe give you something if you are sitting here saying, no, I can't do that. That's not going to work. And you're automatically vetoing everything before you've even had a chance to taste it. You need spice, my friends. You need some spice. So allow the chef, the master chef, to put some cayenne pepper on your food, right? Let the chef put something different in your meal, okay? You have to let it, because if you're no, I'm allergic, no. The master chef's gonna be all right, well then I won't give it to you then. Fine. So it's kind of your relationship. This is a very intimate relationship that you could be having with your higher self right now and not even realizing what's going on. If you can say, okay, I'm going to develop a more intimate relationship with my higher self this week. I'm going to do it now. Through my, even just like when you're driving, just open your arms and be like, give me something. Give me something. You can be open to anything. I think receiving is very important. You can see how restricted all of these kinds of energies are. And then there's also an aspect of judgment here as well, of like, okay, well, is it the head in the one? Is it the ghost in the middle? Is it the snake on the top? You know, like, no, no, no. If the universe is trying to give you stuff and you keep saying no, well, then the boredom and discontentment is kind of your own fault, right? Because you never know where the little things might take you. That's the whole thing. You never know where it might take you if you let that stranger buy you a cup of coffee, or if you let that guy ask you out. And, it might not be the thing, the one, the end all be all. It might not be the perfect job, but it could stimulate other opportunities. So you just simply never know. So develop that intimate connection. Have very real conversations with your higher self. Tell the higher self that you are open to receiving and that you won't judge opportunities as they come to you. Even if you think they're totally not for you, I would recommend doing it just for the sake of doing something so that you can have that kind of stimulating experience. And it might actually turn out really cool for you. Might actually turn out really cool. All right, you guys, that's it for you. Have an amazing week. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Take care.